hey, didn't see you there. I'd like to talk to you today about Ralph Page. Once there was a man. His name was Ralph Page, and he was deeply involved in a thing called contradance. Contradance is a style of country dancing commonly found in the northeastern United States, combining several styles of music and dance from the United States and Europe. There are three main components: dance, music, and calling. The first of these, dance, is what makes a contradance, well, a dance. A typical contradance would consist of several different moves called figures, which would be known to the dancer by the dancers. These consist of allemans, pull-bys, and the do-si-do, etc. The second element of a contradance is the musician, or musicians. The third element, or what someone would call the most important part, is the caller. The caller keeps the musicians and dancers together by calling out the tunes to be played and the moves to be danced to those tunes. They curate, perhaps, a vibe. Ralph Page is one of the most prominent callers of his time during the contradance revival of the 20th century.
Ralph Page was born in Munsonville, New Hampshire, to his Scottish-Irish parents in 1903. But perhaps we will start where his life really began. Ralph's journey to becoming a caller was at the ripe young age of 27 on the 5th of December, 1930. He was supposed to play the fiddle at a contradance, which was a common occurrence, but the caller had developed laryngitis. Ralph substituted for the caller, and thus a star was born.
And now, a dramatic reenactment of the most important moment in contradance history. Do-si-do!
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Well, what's up? It's time to raise the energy, because I bet you didn't know that I'm actually very well known for my ability to throw a party. The first thing you need to do is select a theme for your party. You can even have a pre-party party to plan a theme for your party. Now, beware, do not be such a simpleton and have a holiday-themed party like Valentine's Day or Christmas Day. Instead, be creative and pick something that members will remember, like the draft, the Roman track meet,
3, 2, 1, go!
or a town meeting.
All those opposed?
Now, it is also very important to make people want to come to your party. To do that, have short skits with everyone around to hint at an exciting party when you're around your friends. The idea is to feed a sense of curiosity and to give your guests a sense that they have to be there. Decorations are also super important. You can create pre-decorations or create a station at the table at your door and invite your guests to create decorations as they get there. Most parties involve people arriving, sitting, and waiting around for things to start happening. Avoid this fatal mistake at all costs. Consider removing most, if not all, your chairs and give your guests something to do immediately when they arrive. Spark as much laughter as possible. Ha, ha, ha. Make sure to smoothly transition between events. Absolutely no embarrassing intervals between each event. Make sure to program the party to include dances, games, mixers, stunts, and games. Here's a good quote for your party planning. Leave them laughing, leave them crying, but more than anything, leave them wanting more. In other words, build your program to a high point and then stop. Be free to be economical with refreshments. People will appreciate it just as much as they fancy refreshments. Now, you can make it a show and make it as corny as you like. I was at a party once, and they rolled in a canoe filled with punch, and they carried it around while we helped ourselves. Now, rapid fire. Here are some good rules for your party if you're ever in doubt. Was the party fun for everyone? Did most of the people participate in the activities, or just a few and everyone else sat down like you? All right. Was there a comfortable continuity of theme? Did the program flow smoothly? All right. Was there something easy for everyone to do as they entered the room? Did their attitude create a spirit of enthusiasm? And did everyone leave the party with a good spirit? Okay. And were the refreshments a pleasant surprise?
Ralph Page fell in love with contra dancing to the point where, in some of his writings, he made it sound like a religion. He would refer to people trying contra dance for the first time as being converted to the community. Ralph Page went to Portland, Maine, New England Square Dance Convention, which caused him to write a very fiery paper titled, "Dearest God and the Seven Saints, Please Hear My Prayer," in which he wrote about the converting. He went in with the hopes of seeing many people try contra dancing and be converted into the Contra Dancing Society, but sadly, this was not the case in this particular dance. In his essay, he went on about his anger, about the callers being awful. Now, time for some translations from the paper.
Can you imagine a caller firing chorus jig in duple minor at a group who had never done contra before? Well, it happened, and as usual, succeeded in clearing the hall.
Translates to,
Would you ask a 2-year-old ballerina to go on point? No, of course they're gonna walk out, you idiot!
Go.
sadly, some of the last callers of this event were actually pretty good, but since the people who went first decided to teach the dancers something hard that was brand new to brand new dancers, the dancers gave up rather quickly. This made Ralph Page furious. He loved contra dancing so much, and he was always bound by the traditions. He just wanted to spread contra dancing to everybody, but since the first callers were idiots, in the case of this contra dance in Portland, Maine, sadly, his dreams did not come true that day.
Traditions and historical activities such as contra dancing have often been the subject of two different types of viewpoints, mainly regarding their preservation. The first of these, conservative preservation, is a view and manner of preservation in which those who follow it believe that something should be preserved the way it is. This is in essence the idea that something should be unchanged and kept the way it is when being preserved. A key part of this view is that changing or modifying any aspect of the original tradition is seen as taking away from the meaning of the original tradition. On the other hand, progressive conservation is the view that changes and modifications can be made to an original tradition without taking away from the meaning of the original tradition. While it's unusual for one to switch between the two, Ralph Page's legacy paints the picture of someone whose views on both progressive and conservative preservation existed. As contra dance began to spread to more urban areas as well as around the country and the world, Page often argued that callers were like salesmen who had to make the dances accessible and learnable to those who would come to the dances. He also argued against difficult, complicated, and inaccessible dances and figures, as they drove people away and caused disinterest in the tradition and participation in dances. In essence, he sought to bring the social and cultural tradition of contra dancing back into the public eye. He traveled around the world, as well as the country, and a prime example of this being a dance he called in Tokyo, Japan, where he called using hand signals as he did not know Japanese or had a translator who could work on that level. He published a magazine called The Northern Junket, which was a collection of dances and other activities submitted by himself and other people. And he ultimately helped found the New England Folk Festival, which exists into today. Overall, Ralph Page left behind an important legacy, one which, along with the work and efforts of several others, successfully revived the cultural and social tradition of contra dancing.